What's going on, people? I figured I'd make one last video before E3 because it's kind of been a shit show between Sony and everybody who's not Nintendo before E3, and it's Sunday. It's Saturday morning right now. And tomorrow is officially E3. Microsoft's press conference is happening tomorrow. So I want to go ahead and I want to make this last video because I do feel like Microsoft and Sony have a lot of grounds to cover. Not with just games, not with hardware, not with, just the basic shit. I feel like they have a lot to prove. They feel like they have a lot to prove. And there's good reason for that. There's really good reasons for that. I mean, Sean came out talking about features of the PS4, and it really sounded like he was trying to blame us. Xbox took some shots at Sony, and Xbox, you're in no position to take shots at anybody. Ubisoft is talking about censoring a game. I mean, it's just been a shit show. And E3 hasn't even fucking started yet. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen come Sunday. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a little concerned because I don't recall any of the past 4 E3s that I've really paid attention to having this much shit happen before E3. I mean, it's legitimately just every single company has had shit just go completely out of control. What the fuck? I want to start with Sony. Okay, let me start with Sony because they're the ones who seem to be making the biggest mistakes right now. You got Sean talking about features, and he seems to want to be blaming the customers. Okay, us. Well, backwards compatibility is a feature, and it's in the Xbox One, it's in the Wii U, it was in the PS3 for a little bit, it was in the PS2, it's in the Xbox 360, it was in the PS2, it was in the original Wii. Backwards compatibility is normally in these things, and he wanted to say that it's the most underused feature in the PS4. But he doesn't bring up PlayStation Now because PlayStation Now is backwards compatibility on the PS4. So right there, Sean, you automatically take an L. I'm going to use this as your loss because I don't have a piece of paper with the letter L, and I'm not going to draw an L. I'm not going to edit this video. This is a straight up raw, okay? You take an L because you didn't incorporate the ability for me to plug in my own copy of a game into the PS4, okay? You're taking that L, okay, because you decided to be a dumbass. You're charging me to play a copy of a game I already own. I already own the fucking physical version of said game that I want to play. I'm not paying you money to stream it from a cloud. That's not gonna happen. Your way of wanting to do backwards compatibility, I was going to say that right the first time, is a failure. That means you as a company, your brand, Sean, failed. Not your customers. You're the failure, Sean. Not us. You. And it's not the most underused feature. It's not remote play, and it's damn sure not VR. You have features in your own fucking product that get used less. Because in order to use those fucking features, you decided to actually create more hardware to use said features. Remember when Sega did this? It didn't bode well for them either. Sega did the exact same thing. And I've called you Sega countless times on my channel. Countless times. I've referred to this generation, the PS4 generation, as Sony basically making the same mistakes as Sega has in the past. You're basically doing the Sega Genesis. Remember Sega Genesis? It had the Sega Genesis, the 32X, the Sega CD, all these little add-ons, and they were basically features to improve upon it some fucking how. Yeah, it didn't really boast all that well. It didn't really do all that well, but they were still there. And the PS4, in its own way, has the same deal. With the PS4, you have a PS Vita, which incorporates the feature Remote Play. Much like with the Sega Genesis, you had the Sega CD, which allowed you to play CD-based games. And then you have PSVR, which incorporates the VR feature. You don't need the PS4 Pro to use PSVR. You can have, a standard 2013 version of PlayStation 4, or you can have the PS4 Slim. Doesn't really fucking matter, as long as you have a PS4. But you haven't even reached 5% of your own fucking market with PSVR. So you as a own company, your own company is to be held responsible for your features not being utilized. It's not the customer's fault. You've made outlandish promises of your own products and not even fucking held up your own end. It's not your customer's fault. Who was the dumbass who got on stage and said, hey man, 80 games for VR within its first physical year and is yet to even match half of that? It's not us. We got nothing to fucking do with you making the games. We don't control the fucking developers who release the content of shit that should be on it. We're not the ones who decided to kill the PS Vita. There is a handheld market. You just don't want to be involved in it. The Switch is part of the handheld market. It's part of the core console market. It's involved in both, and it's doing just fine. I know it's only 3 months old, but it's doing just fine. The 3DS is exclusively in the handheld market, and it's been doing just fine for many years. You, for some reason, can't get your shit together. It's not that nobody wants to buy the VR headset. You just, again, when it launched, couldn't meet demands. And then you just kind of let it die off. That isn't the customer's fault. That's you, Sean. That is your company's fault. That is not our fault. The features are not being used. That is not our fault. You made the hardware that is is actually required for these features to be utilized. It's not our fault that you decided to drop one like a bad habit and didn't even, replenish the market to meet demand quick enough. That is not our fault. That is your fault. That's got nothing to do with us. You let the actual hype for the VR headset die off. It was like the most sought after thing for like 3 months, and you couldn't even fucking replenish the market quick enough. That's your own fault. We have nothing to do with that. Oh, you couldn't get stock back out on the market? That's your fault, not ours. You're not getting the games out fast enough. That's your fault, not ours. See what I'm saying? Now, onto Microsoft and them saying shit about you guys not having backwards compatibility. Xbox, you have backwards compatibility, but you're also you're very fucking lazy. You're very fucking lazy. Anybody with half a fucking brain cell in their head knows that the Xbox One brand is fucking lazy. Phil Spencer, I'll give you credit where credit is due. You brought the Xbox One brand from damn near extinction because at one point GameStop wasn't even going to sell the fucking thing. It was looking like this wasn't even going to have a lifespan. I'll give you that credit. But you've also done a lot of damage to this thing in making it at least accessible, yes, but you've done damage to the thing as well. In the sense that you don't understand why you need to have exclusive content that's only found on the fucking thing. You don't seem to understand why that's important. You don't seem to understand you don't need to release controllers every fucking week when you have a design studio. You seem to be obsessed with controllers and releasing a new controller every fucking week. Either close the design studio or fucking stop making controllers. Nobody gives a fuck. You can make every controller that you release. Enough is enough. They're not related to any games. They're just color schemes that you can create on the design studio. Stop already. Everybody has tried to tell you, Phil, everybody, we want exclusive content on our Xbox. But you think you would listen. You don't. You don't listen. And you call us, who are trying to help you and improve the Xbox One brand, you call us fanboys when we say we want exclusive content, not play anywhere. We want content that's only found on the Xbox One brand. You call us fanboys. That's not being a fanboy, Phil. We want the Xbox One to actually sell better. The reason it's not selling is because nobody can find a reason to buy the fucking thing when they're like, yeah, but aren't all the games gonna look better if I can buy them on PC? What kind of fucking argument can we put up with to make the Xbox One come out looking better when that's a one-sided argument that we go, well, yeah, you're absolutely right. So why don't you just buy the Xbox One controller and play it on PC? You see what we're saying here, Phil. You need exclusive content, the games that can only be bought and played on the Xbox One. That's not fanboying. We're trying to get the sales to go up because I've said this before and I will say it again. I'm trying to help you here. I understand you want everything to do good. Yes, we all want everything to do good. But you are in desperation to understand. You need to understand this. You are fixing to be in last place. The Xbox One brand is fixing to be in last place. Let the Switch, which is over here, my Switch is over here, is going to pass you within its second year if you don't watch yourself. If you don't understand that you need exclusive content, Phil, if you don't get this through your head, the Switch will pass you within its second year, and you will have had 4 years on the market by then. The Switch will have passed you in its second year. Just because of the simple fact, hey, Nintendo and PlayStation understand something you, Phil, seem to not understand, and that's the importance of exclusive content and third-party games, and having a diverse library. Something you, Phil, don't seem to understand at all. Doesn't matter how powerful your console is. It never has. Sure, it sounds good on paper, like most of the ideas that come from the Xbox brand. But a lot of ideas that come out of a lot of these fucking companies sound good on paper, and they never come to fruition. They never come to reality. And the ones that do end up failing. And why do you think PlayStation Now has failed? They thought that sounded like a good idea. It looked good on paper. They put it into reality. It failed. Let's charge people for backwards compatibility. Not a whole lot of people hold on to their old games. They found out real quick. A lot of people hold on to their old games because they invest so much money and build up that library, especially when you have a system that is around for a decade. You buy a lot of fucking games, and you not only buy them one time, you'll go out and you'll buy them multiple times, especially when the system is around for a full decade. See, that's what's hurt you. If you have an exclusive library like the 360 did, the 360 is honestly a better system than the Xbox One. You have a big library, you have exclusive content, you have a really good online service still on the Xbox 360, making the 360 better. The reason you have backwards compatibility on the Xbox One is so the Xbox One is half of what the 360 was. So you can make it seem like it's, at least somewhat decent. It's improved upon, I guess. But it's nowhere near as good. Anybody with a brain cell can tell you, no, it's nowhere near as good. Sure, it's prettier, but nobody gives a damn. It's hard to convince somebody to give a damn about something just because it's prettier. And that's the honest to God truth. I don't know how many people are going to have to tell you that before you get the message, Phil. I've been trying to tell you that for I don't know how many videos now. And then finally, my last little bit, I just made a video about this earlier yesterday before I went to work about Ubisoft. About the whole South Park game being possibly censored just to appease social justice warriors, or because they feel like they gotta, help parents who are fucking retarded. I don't understand that. I really don't. I buy parental advisory CDs. The parental advisory sticker is right there on the front. It's big as fuck all the time. There's a big ass rating symbol right here on the game. You can see it clear as day. People are run all by their phone. Their phone is attached to their head. You got way too many fucking things. My thing is this. If there's ever a time where a company feels like we're just going to censor a game like that, and we all know South Park. South Park pulls no punches. They just go in and they just lay into them. Kind of like what I do when I just lay into Sony or when I lay into Microsoft. I don't really pull punches. I kind of give you my full-on opinion. If you feel the need to censor the game, just cancel it. Just cancel it. Understand your stock is going to drop. It's just going to drop. That's just the way it is. Just deal with the consequences. You will probably get booed off the stage at E3 because of it, but at least you can say, hey, we're man enough to deal with the fucking consequences. But don't be a little bitch about it. I don't know what to expect. Like I said, I don't know what to expect with all this drama going on in the industry right now. And I've said this before as well. Nintendo has really kind of kept their mouth shut. We know they want to do a treehouse or whatever they call that. Nah, I don't know what they call it. it doesn't surprise me that they want to do that. And I've said this before as much too, and I'm going to end it with me saying this again. We really should be worried that the only gaming company, which is Nintendo, and my light is acting a fucking fool. The only gaming company that's in the gaming industry, which is Nintendo, is not on stage at E3. We should really be concerned about that, because they are the only true blue gaming company. PlayStation and Xbox are both brands, branch offs of their respected company. They're not gaming companies. They never will be. In the industry, they'll never be actual gaming companies. And we should be really concerned about the fact that the only gaming company is doing pre-recorded shit at E3 instead of being on stage. That should concern everybody. I need Nintendo to be back on stage. You need Nintendo to be back on stage. We all need Nintendo to be back on stage. It is necessary for them to be there because they are the only gaming company. I'm going to end it there. This video has gone on longer than I expected it to. But like I said, this will be the last video I make until, Microsoft's press conference. I'll have a video talking about that. I'll have one follow-up of the PlayStation 1. And then I'll have one follow-up of Nintendo's. But until then, you guys, deuces.